Today, we will be looking back at all the old and new POIs within Fortnite, and we are going to be ranking them on a tier list. But first, we have an apparel announcement. That's right, Power is dropping its latest collection, the Storm Collection, which includes this hoodie right here, which I have gone through like 10 different versions. Like, I've been wearing this in videos for, I think, 2 years now, and it's finally coming out. It's definitely one of my favorite hoodies I've ever worn. It's the one I wore where I won the AO in, and I didn't get carried in that at all. I actually won it. So if you want to win like big tournaments like myself, probably cop the hoodie. And for all of our drops, they're limited quantity. They only come out once. So if you guys want to get in on this opportunity, check out the link in the description. You can see the prices for everything, and of course, register your email to get notified. Friday 29th, 7 p.m. EST, I believe. That's when it all goes live. Of course, follow the socials for more updates. And if you pick anything up, make sure to tweet me on Twitter so I can see it. Can't wait to get it out for you guys. If you guys want to see more tier lists, let me know. Leave a comment down below on what tier list you would like to see. And for today's video, 100k likes. That'd be pretty pog. All right, now we've done the promo. Let's jump into today's video. We've got to, of course, rank all of these amazing POIs within Fortnite. I'm seeing some OG ones. I'm seeing some new ones. First things first, I want to know your favorite POI. Chuck it in, new or old, in the comment section. Let's talk about the ranks. We're going to go all the way from God Drop, like absolute best POI, to I AFK'd the boss. You know, sometimes you AFK the boss and you end up at these weird POIs. Like, that's a tier list of its own. Then we have A, B, C in the middle, and then ooh, because, like, you know, it's just like, ew, who wants to drop there? Before we jump in, this is a tier list. This is my opinion. You could have a different opinion. That's the beauty of the internet. All right, let's go. Starting things off, we have Anarchy Acres. Now, I actually don't have too many memories of Anarchy Acres. I'm not going to rank it high. Actually, the first video I recorded with Lachlan, Laserbeam, we got the first, like, draw royale on YouTube. That was the first video we ever recorded together, and we won the game, or drew the game, in Anarchy Acres. So that's the only thing I can think of off the top of my head. I think I'll go for a B here, but it really wasn't that good of a POI, so I am going to chuck it on C. I don't want to let nostalgia affect too much of what I think of a POI, and I do have 76 to go through here. All right, next up, we got Fatal Fields. Oof, this one's a bit of a classic. I remember doing the Scarecrow thing out there when we got those in the item shop. Those were the days when, like, you get good content off of item shop skins. They were kind of the glory days of Fortnite. Like, I kind of liked Fatal Fields, hiding in the corn. Even before we got the corn in Fatal, like, it was a pretty solid POI, I'd say. I'll probably chuck it under B. Like, I dropped there sometimes for competitions and stuff back in Chapter 1. It was pretty good. You know, it was near salty. I'd go with B. Flush Factory, like, it's back in the game now, and it's got about the same amount of people dropping on it before it came in the game, which is near no one. Like, the only memory I have of it was when we tried to go to Spawn Island the first time in a pub game, and you needed the loot out of Flush Factory, so I knew how to loot Flush Factory from that. And like, you know, there might be some Flush Factory diehards in this comment section, but like, for me personally, I'm gonna chuck it into C tier behind Anarchy Acres. They're gonna scale left to right, by the way, so left is the best and right is the worst of that tier. I could almost chuck it under ew, but it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Alrighty, next up we got Frenzy Farm. This is like Fatal Fields 2.0. Like, I'm not really loving Frenzy Farms, but I don't hate it either. I'd probably go B again, but I think Fatal is better than Frenzy. So yeah, it's probably Frenzy Farms to me. There's not really much happening there, and it's gone from the game now, I think. Yeah, it's gone now. Next up, Frosty Flights. Okay, so I actually didn't like Frosty Flights that much. Like, I know a lot of people loved it, especially in like the competitive scene. It was a bit of a hot drop for like World Cup era. I was never that crazy about Frosty Flights. You get your planes, you get a couple loots. I still don't know how to loot Frosty Flights even after all these years. People are gonna hate me for this, but I'm not gonna rank it high. Like, I just never dropped there in any of my videos. I'm gonna put it C tier above Anarchy Acres because it was cool and like, it was like, you know, new snowy and stuff, but I didn't like it that much. And I know some people are gonna say it's my favorite POI. How dare you put that on C? And I agree, but it's just not for me. Alrighty, next up we got Gotham City. This one's an interesting one because this was such a cool thing. Like, you got to understand the context of what this was. This was like the first sponsored POI. This was so cool. This was Batman and Fortnite. The actual like town itself was pretty sick. Like, we had the showdown event there, and I remember doing elim races in Gotham City for cash, and it was pretty exciting. You know, you had grappler going around. I'm gonna chuck it in A tier. Like, for what it was, you know, it's Tilted Town as a base, and then they just made it Batman. Like, that's dope. I'm gonna go with A for that one. That was pretty sick. Alrighty, Greasy Grove. Now, I have to do two things here because I have to think about Greasy Grove as it was, and then you got Greasy Grove with Taco Time, because these are two different Greasy Groves. Before it got removed, I actually really did enjoy it. Around season 6, you had your shadow cubes to rotate rotate off with the geysers. I actually was kind of liking it towards the end of that. But then you got taco time. And taco time was just like... It was taco time. I'll chuck it at A behind Gotham City. If it didn't have taco time, I'd put it here. I mean, taco time was fun, but it was also not fun. Anyway, next up, we got Happy Hamlet. This was introduced in season 7. This was a pretty cool POI. I remember watching, I think it was like Benji Fishy and Mr. Savage. That was a drop spot for World Cup, and I used to watch it a lot. I liked Happy Hamlet as a POI to watch. I didn't like dropping there too much myself. They've taken a lot of the assets and layout from that and ported it to like Misty right now in the current map. I'd probably go like higher B tier, like above Fatal, but not A tier for me, just because I didn't land there a lot. But it was a cool POI. Haunted Hills. Haunted Hills. I'm actually going to chuck this into IFK the bus because I think that actually happened a couple times where I AFK'd and I'm now at Haunted Hills. And it's just an accurate representation. I feel like it just something about it was just underwhelming and it never ever got it. No one went Haunted. Like who was like, yo, man, I'm gonna drop Haunted Hills. Don't think that was really a thing. Next up, we got Holy Hedges. It's an interesting one. I actually didn't like it at the start of chapter 1. I actually hated it. It grew on me. I actually like it now. And I reckon it's pretty good. I would chuck it into A tier behind Greasy Grove. It's kind of like on that same level with Greasy Grove. Yeah, Holy Hedges is pretty solid. It's good layout. I'm like, a lot of times I'm not looking at the loot here. I'm looking at the vibes of the POI. All right, next up, Hunter's Haven. This is the new POI within the latest season. It's got the anime girl who trades you for the sniper rifle. Interesting layout. They got that tunnel underneath, which I'm still not sure how that really kind of works. I hate the IO guards in the middle. IO guards alone maybe want to bring it down a little bit. You know, it's a pretty cool layout. I would go high B for Hunter's Haven. It's a pretty good POI, all things considered. I reckon it's not that bad. It's got that whole background story of like all the hunters. Like apparently your boy Predator's got a crib up there. Like that's pretty dope. All right, next up we got Catty Corner. I was a big fan of Catty Corner from the start. Like, you know, you had the AK there randomly, the mythic AK. That's when it first kind of got introduced. And then of course that turned into the Kit's shotgun and shockwave the next season later. Obviously right now it's got no mythic, so there's no real appeal to it, but I hated fighting there, if I'm gonna be honest. Like fighting there for the mythics was messy. It wasn't fun, but I landed there a lot. I would have to put it A tier over Greasy Grove, but not better than Gotham. Yeah, like had your mythics, hated fighting there. Like really hated fighting there. But nah, solid POI in my opinion. I like the story how it was like the box factory and then it turned into like best place to drop on the map for the Kids Shockwave because everyone wanted Kids Shockwave in season 3. All right, next up, Junk Junction. Yeah, look, another one of those ones that you just didn't really drop there. Like AFK the bus here could work, but I don't want to disrespect as much as Haunted Hills, so I'm gonna chuck it into ew, or maybe a low C tier. It's like borderline really, but I have to go ew. I did miss it, but I don't miss it. The llama was probably the best part about it up top. That wasn't really part of the POI. I think a lot of it has to do with the location of where it is because it's like off the edge of the map. You obviously don't get a lot of traction there. So yeah, Jump Junction just never really was like, yeah, let's Jump Junction it up. Nah. Alrighty, Lazy Lagoon. Now, this was a fun one when it came in. I was like, oh yeah, this looks sick. Like Lazy Links turn to Lazy Lagoon. I was all about it. I like the water, like the boat, the cannons. No, it was vibes. Season 7 was vibes. For like how cool the POI was. Didn't particularly like fighting there, but I loved the layout. I love just like the, it was a cool POI. I can't give it God Drop, but I will go, I'll give it the highest A tier I got. I loved Lazy Lagoon. Like it was a good vibe. I've had a tough one with Lazy Lake. I never liked it. I still kind of don't like it. I always get crunched in that house, Benji's house. I always die there and I don't like the layout a lot, but I know a lot of people do and I will drop there a lot. I'll probably put it still A tier behind Catty Corner because I do drop there quite a lot, but I don't particularly like dropping there. Like I'll always try to not drop there if I can, unless the bus lines up and it's like, all right, Lazy Lake we go. I just don't like it that much, but I do drop there a lot. So I'll have to chuck it at A tier and it is cool, but I don't like it that much. Next up, Lazy Links. Now, again, remember, this is fully opinion-based. Actually, for my first season 5 video on my channel, I actually do drop Lazy Links. And the vibes were good on the rip, and they held until it went away into Lazy Lagoon. This is the first God Drop. Like, I can't explain it, but it was a God Drop. Like, when there was a hot drop Lazy Links, I was like, all right, this is going to be an awesome game of Fortnite. I think my Galaxy skin gameplay, the first time I did that, like I dropped Lazy Links, I dropped a 20 bomb, I think. Lazy Links is God Drop. in my opinion. All right, next up, Lonely Lodge. Truth be told, didn't drop here. It stayed in the whole chapter 1 map, and I think I dropped there maybe 20 times. And I think maybe 10 of those times I was trying to do a video to get wood because I had a lot of wood. I liked the layout, but because it was on the edge of the map, it was pretty lonely. It's a hard one, man. I don't rate it that hard. I'd probably go low C tier or on ew again. Like, I'll go ew. There's gonna be some nostalgic people out there that are gonna be mad at me, but like, because I put 3 OG POIs onto the bottom tiers, they just weren't that good. You didn't drop there. Maybe you did. I didn't. Yeah. Maybe. No, actually thinking about it. No, it's better than Flush Factory. Okay, no, Lonely Lodge is better than Flush Factory. Okay, I take that back. Like that's definitely gotta go that way there. Because they did have that fun appeal of like chopping the wood and then someone fall down and die. That was pretty memes. That was like unique to that POI. So I'll rank him a little higher than that. Alrighty, Loot Lake. Now, there's been a few iterations of Loot Lake. He's had a few things over chapter 1. At the initial vibes, he had the house in the middle, and it wasn't that good, but it was kind of just like the only water on the map. But I enjoyed it for the most part, like most iterations of Loot Lake, even the one with the bouncy floor or the bouncy lake. That was actually kind of cool. And I want to say for just how diverse Loot Lake was over the whole chapter, I'd probably have to chuck it under A tier, like high A tier. Like, it was good. All right, next up we have Lucky Landing. Now, this one actually inspired the whole video because I saw they're doing that whole thing with Fox and stuff. And in that shot, it has these resemblance of the Lucky Landing POI in the back. So maybe Lucky Landing's coming back. I think Booger won the World Cup landing at Lucky Landing. I didn't particularly enjoy the POI because it was very south and all the zones would be north. Like, every time I landed Lucky Landing, it'd be an Anarchy Acres like storm, and I'd be like, well, this is great. But the actual layout of it was pretty cool. I liked the kind of oriental theme of it all, and I would always call it Lucky Landing because it sounded close enough. But yeah, like Lucky Landing, pretty solid POI, but I didn't land there a lot, and I'd have to put it in the same one on the C tier here. I liked it more than Frosty Flights, but I didn't like it more than Fatal Fields. So C tier at the top feels like a good spot for me. Alrighty, next up we have Mega Mall. Oh, Mega Mall. This was World Cup era. I remember we had the fresh store. Obviously, I'm a massive retail row fan, but this was a downgrade for me. I did not like the whole turbine. Mall was a nightmare to fight in. So many places where you had to put like walls down that would be under like little ledges and they didn't place. I liked the creativity from Epic side, but I didn't like playing it. So for that reason, I'll probably have to chuck it into a high B tier. I could almost borderline go worse on the A tier. Yeah, no, I probably will because it had like good memories, and it was like cool with like the Stranger Things stuff, but a low A tier, like just because it had retail row as a base. All right, next up we got Misty Meadows, which is actually growing on me recently. For the whole chapter 2, I didn't really like it that much. It has pretty good vibes. It now has IO guards, which aren't fun. Yeah, it's good. It's got that Condor guy now who'll give you upgrades. Competitive, I think Misty's been like always a staple good drop. I'd probably have to chuck it on the same wave as Happy Hamlet, honestly, because I enjoy them about the same, but I enjoy Misty just a little bit more. Moisty Mire. So I dropped there a bit when it came out. I didn't love it. Some of my first videos that I recorded on YouTube for Fortnite were dropping at Moisty Mire. So, you know, it's got that OG appeal for me. There was that like one big tree that had 3 chests sometimes, and that was a big deal. The wood you got out of those trees was massive. Sometimes you get like 100 wood out of those trees. I remember that being like a big deal. It's not like a great POI, but it has that nostalgic value for me. I'd probably chuck it high B, like probably above Hunter's Haven, but I wouldn't necessarily go A tier for it. Like, it was good, but it wasn't like A tier yet, I don't think. All right, next up we got Colossal Coliseum, which it's a new POI. Same with Hunter, it's still growing on me a bit. I don't know if I enjoy fighting in Colossal. It's a little bit crazy. There's a lot of angles and there's a lot of just annoying things going on in Colossal. I don't know. I'm not a crazy fan of it right yet. I'd probably have to chuck it into C tier personally, maybe B tier. I would say I liked Lucky Landing more than Colossal Coliseum, but not as much Frosty Flights. Like, I like it, but I don't like it. So it's a bit hard because it's a new POI, but that's where it is for me right now. All right, next up we got Moisty Palms. So this is Paradise Palms and Moisty Mire collab going on here. Now, I actually really liked the POI, but then they did that thing where if you crouch, it turned into a prop, which I'm all about, like adding some content, great content, but it just, you know, you're trying to get into a fight with someone, you're trying to crouch peek or whatever, and next thing you know, you're a chair. Not ideal. Same thing with the taco one. I'd probably have to go, because I do like Paradise Palms. I'd probably have to go in the B tier, and I'm only bringing it down because of the chair thing. Yeah, before Moisty Mire, because I'm thinking Moisty Palms always had the crouch prop thing, and if that did, then it's going to be. Next up, Near Tilted. Now, I actually hated this drop on the start, like of season, what was it, 9? I know people loved it. I remember me and Fresh first Mongrel in like a kill race once, and I eliminated myself from full damage on ping. That wasn't fun, but it had the John Wick thing there. That was pretty cool. The thing all around it, and this was World Cup era Fortnite, so it's always one of the favorites, but I personally could never see myself dropping there much. But I did like the layout of it and everything about it with the story and that, so I would probably put it in the A tier below Gotham City. I would say Gotham City was better for me personally than the Neo Tilted. Next up, we got Paradise Palms. Great drop, great city, great town, great people, great players. Like, you had the Rips, you had that great like hotel building that's now in Sweaty. I really liked Paradise Palms, and that is why it's going to God drop for me. Like, it was a POI I'd love dropping on. It'd be like hot drop Paradise Palms. Love it. I remember when we were going for elimination races with the Twins and Fresh, like Paradise Palms had to be one of the drops that we had to get off the rip to try and get that. And yeah, Paradise Palms, good solid POI. I like the layout because it's pretty similar to Pleasant Park. And yeah, no, Paradise Palms was good. Next up, Pleasant Park. Do I even explain where I'm going to put it, or do you know where I'm going to put it? Because going to God drop. Like, it's... And as far as like the best one, I think this is a pretty good indicator of where I'd put them. Pleasant Park first, Lazy Links, then Paradise Palms. Like, if a drop was a brand for me, it would be Pleasant Park. I've dropped it for World Cup with Fresh, but I was dropping there before that. Like, it was the spot to be for a good time. And I remember beefing Ninja about it because he doesn't like Pleasant Park. Like, Pleasant Park is God drop. It's perfect. There's a reason they put it in Chapter 2. When that gets taken away from Fortnite, it'd be a dark day for Fortnite. Polar Peak. Okay, so had the sword there. That's like kind of memes on its own. And I remember for the AO, for the qualifying ones, I dropped Polar Peak and I actually played decent. Didn't qualify, but I played decent. And yeah, Polar Peak was like kind of interesting, the story and stuff with like the prisoner and everything. Like, that was kind of cool, and like the layout of it was pretty sick. And like the iceberg being on the map was just such a... First time you played season 7, you were like, whoa. Had that wow factor. I'd probably go high A tier here. I'll go above Loot Lake, probably in between Lazy. Polar Peak was pretty substantial, I reckon. Next we have Pressure Plant, which was the aftermath of the volcano, and it didn't hit for me. I think this is where they built the robot in this stage of the volcano. I really didn't like it that much. I would never drop there. I hated the whole like flying in the middle. There was a big open area. I will actually chuck it under ew because I didn't like it. I didn't drop there. Appropriately ranked, I would say. Like, wasn't good. Next up, we have Retail Row, one of the classics. And it's going into God drop because it is a classic. I definitely would say Chapter 1 Retail Row would go higher than Chapter 2 Retail, just based on where it is placed on the map. It doesn't have the traffic it once did, which is quite unfortunate, really, because it leads to less traffic. And yeah, just Retail Row, another one of those classic drops that Doghouse, once again. Retail Row was where I played my first game with my Lachlan skin. It was where I met Fresh. You know, it's like, it's a good vibe spot. I'd probably inch it in front of Paradise Palms, but then inch it back because Chapter 2 Retail Row ain't that good. Still a classic drop, God drop for me. Next up, we have Rickety Rig. What is Rickety Rig? Oh, that's Rickety Rig. Okay, so yeah, it was a Season 3, I think, exclusive POI. I barely dropped here. It had a supply crate, which made it really good for like competitive stuff, like free pad, but I didn't like it that much. I'll probably chuck it into C. It just wasn't there long. It was only Season 3. So I dropped there a few times. Didn't drop there a lot. I'll probably put it above Frosty Flights, but around the same kind of vibes for me for that POI, I reckon. All right, next up, we got Risky Reels. This one's an interesting one. My OG viewers out there will remember that challenge in Risky Reels where you had to search 7 chests to get the secret skin. Fortnite for that like hour was a different Fortnite. I'm really glad we've got Risky Reels back in Chapter 2. I would probably have to put it down as a God drop as well. Something about the layout. I dropped there a lot when it was in the game. I really sucked when the block took over it. But yeah, Risky Reels, really solid POI. I don't think it's as good in Chapter 2, but it's got that central placement, which makes you pretty often to go there. Anyway, God drop. Risky Reels, pretty good. Salty Springs, I think this is just another unanimous like God drop. I'd probably put it above Retail. above Paradise Palms. Yeah, it's... Ooh, I could even put it above Lazy Links. It is a masterclass POI. Again, another reason why they left it in Chapter 2. It's literally in the Avengers movie with Thor. So, like, I think that's probably a reason they probably won't ever get rid of it. Yeah, but they kind of did already with Stealthy Towers. But, yeah, nothing much to really be said. Masterclass POI. I think for that reason, I will put it above Lazy Links. It is just a good POI. Next up, we got Coral Castle. One of the most underwhelming POI launches I've had yet. Only the OGs will know him as Carl. When he first came out, everyone thought this was going to be Atlantis. It was going to be sick. They teased it all season, and we thought there was going to be like mythic tridents and fish stick like henchmen, and it was going to be sick. And it was just like nothing. It was just Carl. I'm still mad about it, to be honest. Yeah, I'm going to chuck this into IAFK the bus. I never land here unless I'm doing the challenge. And even then, I don't even do the challenges. So I don't even go there. I AFK the bus and I get there. I'm just pissed I didn't get mythic tridents. I rest my case. Next up, Salty Towers. So I love that Tilted Towers is back in the game in some shape or form. And for that reason, I'll probably chuck it into high A tier. But I don't think it was as good as Tilted Towers or as good as Salty Springs. I feel like it just was a downgrade on both levels there. But still better than nothing. I'll take it. High A tier for sure. Next up, we got Shifty Shafts, which I actually liked the creativity of the POI. Like, you know, like a little mine shaft next to the towers. Overlooked because it came out at the same time with Tilted Towers. But I liked there, and I did drop there quite a little bit. I liked fighting there. It's kind of cool. I'd probably go A tier here over Polar Peak. It's like Lazy Lagoon levels. Yeah, I'd probably go over Salty Towers. It's like almost God Drop, but it's high A tier for me. I like Shifty Shafts. Next up, we got Slurpee Swamps. Okay, now this is another one that I really am starting to get around. Like, Slurpee Swamp, I'm really loving the shield barrels. I'm loving fighting there. It's a hot drop, you know, if you're going from bottom left. I will probably chuck it into God Drop above Risky Reels, but not above Retail Row. I really like fighting at Slurpee Swamps. You see on streams most times now, I'll drop Slurpee, even for videos. I will probably have to chuck them on God Drop for now, yeah. Next up, we got Snobby Shores. Now, I didn't like Snobby Shores that much. Liked it a little bit. I remember I found the secret chests underneath, like those little 2 chests in it, and that was a big deal. This was season 4, I believe it came out. I would probably have to put it on the low C tier, below Flush Factory. I didn't like it that much, but I still liked it, but I didn't like it that much. All right, next up, Stark Industries. This is a good one. I hate fighting there. There's no mats, but it is good with the vault, and I mean, it is literally Iron Man in Fortnite. So, like, I want to give it God Drop because Stark 50-50s were fun. Like, you go for that Stark chest and you just 50-50. That was fun. And, like, there's still nothing like that in this season. I did like that. That was a good little endorphin rush there. Do you get the chest? Do you not get the chest? Does it get a pump? Do you get an org? It was a rush every time. I'll probably put low God Drop. Low God Drop. I think putting an A would be a disservice to it. So, yeah, I'll probably put low God Drop for Stark Industries. You had the what about the pumps? Like the purple spaz pumps. Like, next question. Star Suburbs. This was a cool POI because, you know, it started out like broken and then it came back fixed and it had the stars. Stars were pretty dope. Like, that was pretty cool. I like the stars. I'd love to see the stars come back in some way, shape, or form. That was really cool. But the stars alone, I'm giving it A tier. Didn't necessarily like it too much. It was north of Pleasant Park, and I'd rather go Pleasant Park most times, but get the TAC SMG. I'll probably go middle A tier, above Loot Lake. I'll go above Polar Peak, actually. Yeah, Star Suburbs is a vibe. I'm always going to give a higher rank to a POI that tries something different. Next up, we got Stealthy Stronghold, the home of the Predator NPC. Before the Predator NPC, no one was dropping here because it was north of Pleasant Park, similar to how pretty much Starry Suburbs were, really. I like the layout of the POI. I think it's good. You got your mats off the trees. There's little, you know, Sunny Steps vibes in the middle. I don't love it. I'll probably have to go with like a high B, like Happy Hamlet type vibe there. Not crazy about it, but I enjoy it. I enjoyed it a lot for the Predator video, actually, but I really won't go there until never, really. Next up, we got Steamy Stacks. I hated Steamy Stacks at the start of Chapter 1, and I didn't like it until I started playing Trio Cash Cups in like Season 3. At first, I was going to chuck it on E or C, but now that I've played it a lot and I actually enjoy it a bit, I don't land there ever. I'd probably have to go high B tier, the highest B tier we could go. It's not quite A for me yet, but it's still high B tier because it's too far off on the corner of the map. If it was in the middle, I'd probably land there all the time. Sunny Steps was a pretty cool POI near the volcano. I actually liked it, but I didn't drop there too much. But yeah, I probably have to say like high B tier. I didn't love it for the A tier enough. It's not Mega Mall or anything like that, but it's close. Sweaty Sands. Now, I love Paradise Palms, but I don't love Sweaty Sands. Something about the layout of the houses just isn't attractive. Like, whenever I'm in a party and everyone's like, oh, let's go Sweaty Sands, I'm always like, Pleasant Park's right there. For that reason alone, I'm gonna chuck them like low B's, like down here near Fatal Fields. Like, yeah, it's good POI, but I'm not sold on it yet. Same with Craggy Cliffs. I only dropped here when I did duos with Luda because he liked it. I don't love it. I'd probably go with Colossal, Lucky Landing, Frosty Flights. Like, it's a good POI. I know it's got good loot, but I don't like landing there because Pleasant Park's right there. You know what I mean? It's like, it's good, but Pleasant Park right there. Next up, we got the Agency. This may be controversial, but I'm gonna chuck it into like middle god drop right up to Slurpee Swamps, and here's why. Henchman and Mythic Bosses like came in this agency, and it was such a good story. I liked the trailer, I liked everything about it. Fighting there at first wasn't fun, but then it got fun. It was the Tilted Towers of like the last couple seasons, or those 2 seasons it was before the Authority. I enjoyed what the agency was quite a bit. I think a lot of people hated it because the henchmen had aimbot half the time, which is fair enough. Like my boy Ninja, he like that clip. You seen that clip? This clip? Are you kidding me? What? What's that about? I think they nerfed him after that, but like that's a bit aggressive. But still, drum guns, vault, agency, it's a god drop for me. The Authority, on the other hand, I hated the walls. I hated I didn't like the water and the sharks, and then the drum gun got nerfed, and then the glider gun wasn't as good. I didn't like the Authority as much, and I probably put that into low A tiers. It's kind of similar to how like Mega Mall wasn't as good as Retail Row. Like the Authority, not as good as the agency. Also, who's gonna call it the Authority? It just sounds weird. Oh, I do have the block in here. All right, well, we have the block. Now, the block was in 2 places. It was over where Risky Reels was, and then it got moved to near Pleasant Park. I was actually really enjoying landing there for some cash cups and stuff when it was there, and I loved the whole, you know, community interaction with, you know, players building places on the map. That was sick. A lot of the times they didn't really think competitively about how many mats they should place anywhere. They were just like, oh, this looks good. Yeah, 5 whole planks stuck next to each other. That's 400 wood. Thank you very much. I liked the block. I would probably put the block because sometimes it could be god drop and sometimes it could be A tier. Sometimes it could go B tier. So I'll even it out at like a middle A near about near tilted. Like it was pretty good. Next up, we got the Fortilla. I think this was actually in season 4 as well as season 3. And I did drop there quite a lot in season 3. I liked it. You know, the vault, sharks and the henchies and the ocean and the org, which was sick. The org was sick. The org was actually dumb lit. Like, that org was nasty. I liked Fortilla. I'll probably go high A tier near the Shifty Shafts. I wouldn't put it in God Drop. But yeah, because season 4 was just like, had nothing to provide. The Grotto. Man, season 2. Okay, can we talk about season 2 POIs for a second? Like the Grotto. Who misses the Grotto? The Grotto was fun. The Grotto was fun. I'll probably have to chuck him borderline A tier. Like, top of A tier for me, above Lazy Lagoon. Grotto was fun. It was unique. It had like the minigun, the Brutus. I liked the Grotto. The Grotto was good. Yeah, nah. What do you want from me? Grotto was good. All right, next up we got the Rig, which I actually didn't like. I had the bow there, TNTina, but too far off from Slurpee. It's too far away from me. I didn't like it that much. I would probably have to go in the B tiers. Yeah, around Steamy Stacks is pretty much where it's at. Probably lower than that, actually, around Hunter's Haven. Didn't like it that much at all. The Ruins. Ah, yes, the Ruins was Shadow Midas and everything like that. It's so hectic. It wasn't as good as actual agency. The ghosts as well just weren't that fun. I'll probably have to go like middle B tier around the Rig. Like it, nah. Next up, we have the Shark. I think I'm gonna go with a God Drop here. Above Stark Industries. Something about the Shark, the thrill of getting out with the grapple. That's a thrill. The Scar was dumb lit too, and you've just taken the porta potty and you think you're out of there, and then someone boxed you up with C4 or like proximity mines, and now you're sad again. That POI, it had something I don't think any POI has had. Maybe the agency with the Midas drum gun, but like the Shark was a whole different ball game. The Shark is, you are better than anybody in the lobby. You have a gun that is better than everything, apart from maybe like the drum gun and the grapple, like unlimited grapple. Next question. All right, the yacht. Too far away. I liked the idea of it. Deadpool's pistol sucked. That's kind of a wrap on that one. I'd probably go low A, lowest on the A. Yeah, it just didn't hit too hard for me because it's like in the same area as Steamy Stacks, which yeah, it's barely better than Steamy Stacks. Tilted Towers. You already know this is going God drop. Now, for me personally, I'm going to put Pleasant Park above it because Pleasant Park means more to me than the game than Tilted Towers does. But Tilted Towers, massive. Like, this is the face of Fortnite for like the last 2 years, even though it's not even in the game anymore. It's like the OG vibes was Tilted Towers. You drop there, you know you're probably going to get absolutely clapped off the rip, but it's Tilted Towers. And you could drop 10, 20 bomb. You could catch people just running around with no weapons. And that's what it was about. Tilted Towers was a great POI. I think everyone can agree on that. Tilted Towers, I don't even think it needs an explanation. It's God drop. For me personally, Pleasant Park is just too much. Tilted Towers, it is what it is. Dirty Docks. I actually hated Dirty Docks until this season. I still don't like it that much. I'll probably chuck it. Yeah, around Steamy Stacks is where I chuck it. Like, I like it. I don't love it. Like, it's got those 2 henchmen now, which is good, but it's never been a Dirty Docker. Like, just something about it, like, it didn't. Nah, don't like Dirty Docks that much. Next up, we got Tilted Town, which I want to rank highly because it was just so fun. Everyone's like, oh, he sweats ability. Tilted Town, all aim, unless you got the mech in there, because some people got the mech in there. But Tilted Town was amazing. Sometimes you get Taco Time, sometimes you get Tilted Town, and Tilted Town was a W in my book. I'd probably put it right next to the grotto. Like, I liked it. And there was some hilarious clips of people, you know, playing competitive and they can't build into the next zone and they're up high and then they die. Kind of funny, really. Tomato Temple, which was when the Tomato Town got turned into a temple. I didn't like that. I would probably put that like, where's Anarchy Acres? Yeah, C tier. It was really very C tier, the whole vibe of it. Kind of killed Tomato Town for me. Now, on the other hand, Tomato Town. Oh, OG nostalgia vibes. It was my first video. One of my first videos is like the best spot to drop, and it was Tomato Town. Tomato Town, something about it, it just speaks to me. I would almost put a God drop, but it's actually not that good because it's like 2 chests. But just something about it, like the vibes and everything. I'll put a high A tier, like up around Shifty and Lazy in between there, because it was just such a nostalgic vibe. Love Tomato Town. Wailing Woods, I didn't like it that much. I liked how you get the wood there for the meme strats. That's about it. And for that, I'd probably rank it around below Misty and Hamlet. Better than Stealthy. Yeah, the teleporter portals made it cool, but just wasn't that cool. B tier sounds about right. Next up, Weeping Woods, which I would say I like more than Wailing Woods. I don't go out of my way to drop there, so I would probably put it around Dirty Dock, Steamy Stacks. B tier. Yeah, you know, it is what it is. It's Weeping Woods. You know, nothing special, but not that bad either. Next up, we got the crab. What even was the crab? Yeah, no, I AFK'd the bus if I'm landing there. Next up, we got Racetrack. The second one was better than the first one, but I remember like Fortnite hosted a competition and they did a racetrack and I lost and I didn't win any money and I didn't like it after that. And I also died there on my last game of the, second last game of the Pro-Am, which was a crucial death, and I died and I was really sad about it. So I'd probably put Racetrack under ew. Like, it just nothing really appealed to me there. Oh, we do have it. Hovering Islands. Oh, these were around the middle when it first came out. Like, C tier. Next up, Floating Island. Floating Island was pretty good. Like, it was pretty good. This is right when we got the elimination record in Fortnite. Floating Island was pretty sick. For how unique it was and everything, it's got to go on the A tier, above the yacht, above the authority, above most of these. I'll probably put it up near above Starry Suburbs. It's got to go, like, honestly up to Tilted Town right here, because it wasn't God drop because I didn't like it that much. Floating Island was good. Like, and when that got added to the game, ugh, that was messy. Next thing with the Motel, which again is just one of those ones that didn't hit at all. It's good, but it wasn't great, and it wasn't even really good. It's on the way to the block. I have to chuck him into ew. Like, I didn't even AFK to get there, but yeah, he wasn't that good. Tombstone Main was a downgrade for Pleasant Park, in my opinion. It was good, but the henchies made it worse. And for that reason, I will probably chuck it still high A tier. It's around there. Like, it's better than most maps, but it was a downgrade with the henchies. Pandora. This one is a very unique one. It's where you gain shield over time, or it puts you up to like 100 shield like straight away, like Borderlands. Really cool. Love the cell shading. Like, again, like a lot of Season X like stuff was cool. I'd probably put this on the highest A tier. Wasn't quite a God drop, but it was close. Yeah, I'll put it up here with Floating Island, I reckon. It was good, but it wasn't like the best. Prison. I didn't like Prison that much. Everyone loved it. I didn't like it that much. I'll probably, for the sake of things, put it around Lucky Landing. That's about where it was for me. It wasn't that cool. but it was all right. It was pretty decent. Next is Shipment Yard, which is, I think, where I dropped one of my first videos. It's where I was able to do my vending machine challenge for the first time, which was a crazy challenge. If you haven't seen that OG video, watch it. It was one of the hardest videos. I think I spent 30-40 hours on that video. Yeah, Shipment Yard was good. I hated trying to work around, like, getting into the crates when the builds didn't go through. That was annoying. I'll probably have to put him like around B, around Fatal Fields. Like, not crazy. Stadium, same kind of vibes. Like, really not that crazy about it. I probably have to go like around, yeah, Misty type vibes. In the B tier. Wasn't that good. Next up, we got Volcano. I actually liked the Volcano. Like, going inside the Volcano and stuff, that was actually really skits. I remember when I dropped my 30 bomb, which was totally not faked, and a bunch of stream snipers did it in the Volcano. Volcano was good. I liked the Volcano. It was a really cool season. It was like season 7, yeah. I'll probably put A tier up with the yacht. Like, well, I didn't go there all the time, but if it was a hot drop, I'd sign up to the Volcano for sure. This was like soccer skin era. Westworld. This is like Tfru's drop. Westworld was good. I don't even know why we called it Westworld. I had like the chairs in all the rooms, and it was a good layout. I'd probably put it around Steamy Stacks. It wasn't quite A tier for me personally, but I would drop there. It had good loot. Yeah, Westworld's pretty good. Yonder Yard. It's like where the disco was with the snow. Yonder. Okay, yeah. I think like C's gave it this name, didn't he? I don't know how crazy I felt about Yonder Yard. Probably B tier for me, like around Misty type area. Like, I wasn't crazy about Yonder. Then we got the two Dusties. Dusty Depot. It was good, but it wasn't like as good as everyone tried to make it out to be. I'd probably put it around like low A tier, around the yacht. Like, it was good. And then last but certainly not least is Dusty Divot. I reckon it was an upgrade on Dusty Depot. I'd probably put it near the top of A tier, around Tilted Town and Lazy Lagoon, because Dusty Divot was like such a huge, you log on, first game of chapter 4, what the hell. And then it like had that gradual progress with the trees, you know, growing and everything. Nah, Dusty Divot was solid. Dusty Divot was solid. Now, at the top of the head, we are missing some POIs. The one that stands out to me the most would have to be Viking Village. It didn't really have the name Viking Village, but I gave it that name. And I'd probably have to put that like either God Drop or high A tier. I'd probably put that closer to God Drop, but when they took away the rifts, it went down to A, maybe B tier. I really liked fighting at Viking Village. Viking Village was a really solid POI. I don't have the picture for it, but that's just where I'd put it. And just like that, that is the tier list for my drops. That raw recording was an hour long, so I don't know what the final is going to be. Let me know what you think about my tier list in the comment section down below. Of course, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and of course, leave a like on today's video. Let's try and shoot for like 100k likes. That'd be pretty poggers. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.